Guys, so today we're going to just follow up on the surface area of the square box. Now, using the last problem, we have the polynomial, and in this problem, we're given the value of the surface area as 3 centimeters. Keep in mind, I changed the s into x just so all the variables would match. Just from the first term on this side of the equal sign, I can tell it's quadratic because the highest degree is 2, which means that in order to solve for x, I need to make one side of the equal sign 0, which means I'm going to subtract the 3. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other, to its constant. And then this would give me 0 equals 24 over 25 x squared plus 72 over 5x plus 51. Now, I don't like the fractions, so I'm going to get rid of it because the only thing that makes it a fraction is its denominator. If I look at both denominators, I can get rid of it if I multiply by 25. And keep in mind, whenever you multiply, you have to keep the equation balanced by multiplying everything by 25. 25 times 0 is 0. Multiplying fractions, we go straight across. The 25s would divide out here, leaving me with 24x squared. You can also just take 72 over 5 and then multiply it by 25 as well. That would give you 360, bring down the x. And then 25 times 51 would give me 1275. Now, I am going to note that I did not align this so that it could be factored. Usually in your problems, the problems were thought out and set up so that they can be factored to solve for x. This one cannot be, so I am going to just fall back on the quadratic formula again, but keep in mind when you do the problem, you can actually try factoring and that would probably work. Now in this case, A would be 24, B would be 360, and C would be 1275. Keep that in mind because I am going to switch to the next page to apply the quadratic formula. So, quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It is the other option you can use to solve for x in a quadratic equation other than factoring. You could also use completing the square, but again, it's not really a fan favorite. I'm going to bring down the negative, and I know that b from the last page is 360, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So I'm writing 360 squared, and then bring down the minus sign, and I'm multiplying 4 times a, which is 24, times c, which is 1275. And that's going to be all over 2 times a being 24, so 2 times 24. Now, when applying the quadratic formula, focus on what's inside of the square root first if you plan to use this method other than factoring. So if I square 360, that'll give me 129,600. Bring down the minus. I always bring down the minus and then multiply the product of 4ac. So 4 times 24 times 1275, that would give me 122,400. And I have a denominator of 48. So I'm still just going to focus on what's inside of the square root. Oops. So if I subtract 129,600 minus 122,400, that would give me the square root of 7,200. All right. So basically, you'll have two answers. The first one is negative 360 plus the square root of 7,200. Make sure you press equals after this and then divide it by 48. And that would give you approximately negative 5.73. And the other answer, because remember it's plus or minus, it would be negative 360 minus the square root of 7,200. Make sure you press equals over 48, and that would be approximately negative 9.26. So these would be the values of x. Now keep in mind, if you're solving them with relation to time, there would be no solution since they're negative. All right, guys, hope this helps.